Good morning. Happy Wednesday, everybody. It's my Friday. Yay. The week went by really fast, man. It's just life. Life is going, man. It's going quick. And it scares me a little bit. It's just going too quick. I don't like it. I want it to slow down, so I can enjoy it a little bit. It just seems like the days are just going into weeks, and the weeks are going into months, and it's just going like that because I'm working all the time. It seems like I'm working every day. I just want it to slow down so I can, have some enjoyment besides just working all the time. It seems like, So I wanted to talk about them little puppies they're bringing back from extinction. These white, I can't remember what they're called, but they're brought them back from extinction, and they're these white puppies that are really cute, right? And I was looking at them on the news, and they're so adorable. And I was trying to figure out why I felt so sad for them, though, at the same time. And I figured out what it was. It's those little puppies are sitting there howling and crying, and I'm thinking, man, those poor little puppies, they don't have a mommy. They don't have a mommy or a daddy. And, it means kind of like, yeah, that's kind of sad, isn't it? Like the little baby cute puppies, they don't have a mama or a daddy. And that's just super sad to me, man. Like, I just think that's another reason why they shouldn't be doing that. But, at the same time, they are adorable, and I'm sure they're going to get plenty of love, But, people are really having a hard time with, the whole cloning thing and how they brought them into existence. But you got to remember, I thought about this. Yeah, maybe man did bring them back from extinction. However they did it, cloned them from DNA. But we got to remember that the creator of all created that DNA, okay? So, they still are, even though God, they were brought into existence differently than normal, without a mom and a dad, and the typical way. It's still God's DNA, okay? The puppy still came from God, okay? I thought about that, and I'm thinking, you know what? Yeah, they don't have a mommy or a daddy, but they're still God's creature, man. God made the DNA. God made the man that got this, knowledge enough to use the DNA to bring them back to life, to create these animals. So in my eyes, they're still God's creatures because God made the DNA. And that's what's the most important part, is what makes you up is your DNA, right? So they're still God's creatures in my eyes, and I think they're absolutely 100% adorable, and I think their lives are 100% legit, even though they weren't, born like regular puppies or whatever. However they did it, but it's still God's DNA. God is the creator of the DNA, and that's the bottom line, okay? So the mom and dad are the people that participated in cloning and manufacturing or growing these puppies, right? However they did it. But it's still, it's kind of sad, especially if they start doing this with humans. The human's going to grow up and know how it was brought into existence, and kind of probably be, feel a little different because it doesn't have a mom or a dad like normal, mammals and creatures and stuff, But I was thinking about that, and, when you look at the big picture, it's still God's creation, okay? Because God created everything that created that, okay? That created the creature. So it's just a different way of bringing the life into existence, but still, you know, it's still life. It's still God's creation, and I think they deserve all the love any other creature deserves, you know? So I just wanted to kind of chime in about that a little bit, because I was thinking about it, and I was looking at these really cute looking puppies, man, on TV, right? They are so cute, man. Like, I want one. A little white snowball puppy. So adorable, sitting there howling. Oh, God, I fell in love with them. Really did, man. If you haven't seen these things yet, you got to check them out. I can't remember the name of them, but just Google white puppies, you know, cloned white puppies, and they'll show up. They're really cute, man. I mean, probably one of the cutest puppies I've ever seen, man. Really. And so I fell in love with those puppies. I want one. And that's all I got to say on that. They're still God's creatures, all right? They're still God's little puppies. So, you know, as far as Trump goes, I wanted to chime in a little bit on Trump too. I'm on my way to work, by the way, here. You know, China's being a-holes, you know, with the tariffs, but, you know, that's kind of to be expected. I think there's too much fear-mongering going on, too much, oh, what a jerk, man. He went through the intersection in the bike lane. Anyways, you know, Trump's playing hardball, man. He's not caving to the stock markets. He's not caving to this and that. He's a real leader, just like everybody knows that put him there, and that's why he's in there. You know, China likes to play hardball. You know, they have a lot to lose, man. China has a lot to lose. They're going to, once they, you know, they're going to lose a lot of our business, and that's going to hurt them. It's going to hurt them, man. And, you know, a lot of these other countries, they're already coming to the table, and they're doing what Trump wants, okay? You know, not all of them, but most of them are willing to deal with Trump. You know, Trump laid the cards out. They went for it, most of them. We're still waiting. We're still going to see what happens with the others. But not all of them are going to go for it. Then we'll find out who really is our real friends, you know? We'll find out. You know what? You know, we're going to get some price changes here, sure, but it's just going to be, who knows? But you know what? It is what it is, man. Something had to be done. Because our country is getting sucked dry, man. Really. There's not going to be any jobs left here eventually. We had to do something, and that's part of the reason Trump's in there, man, because someone had to get in there and try to fix this mess that the previous administrations have gotten us into for the last 40 years. You know, I think it all started with Bill Clinton with the NAFTA scam. The NAFTA, one of the biggest scams of all time, man. You know, all these lefties are screaming and crying about Trump's tariffs. Why weren't they screaming and crying about the tariffs that they were putting on us already, way before Trump even came into the picture? They should have been screaming about that, not about our president trying to defend us, you know? But, you know, they're so fixated on Trump that they just never focus on the right things, okay? They just focus on Trump. Whatever Trump does is wrong, even breathing. You know, it is what it is, man. The people are deranged. They have Trump derangement syndrome. And, you know, I guarantee you if it was the Democrats doing this, and, you know, I just saw some footage of Chuck Schumer saying the same thing Trump was about the tariffs. Okay, but they don't bitch about that. They never even talk about that. Obama, same thing, man. Doing the same plan as Doge. They're hypocrites, man. They're just mad because it's not Democrats fixing this country. And their hatred for Trump. Trump could be doing what he's doing, trying to fix this country, and they're still going to hate him just because the mainstream media has brainwashed these people, man. I'm not kidding you. The mainstream media needs to be held accountable for a lot of this mess that they're causing. You know, it's unreal, man. It's unreal. I watched CNN on my lunch break, and they're just so, out to make Trump look bad. Everything he does, they never say anything good about him. And that just tells you right there that there's something wrong with that news network, man. When they never say anything good about the leader. But when it was Biden, all good. If you can't notice that, then you definitely have a problem, with reality. It doesn't take a very smart person to notice that, And why would you believe a network that is so obviously one-sided? Even a child can notice it. Why would you even go along with a network that's like that? It's a red flag, big time. That just tells you that most of the stuff they're talking about, there's a lie, or it's a twisted story. They take it out of context. It's just lies, man, and deception. It's so obvious, man. And it's just, I watch both sides, and it's coming from the left-leaning networks, man. They're creating a lot of this TDS that's out there. They really are. It's not all just news. It's some papers too. Some of these illustrations that are coming out, man, they're full of it, dude. They're full of it, and they're messing with people's heads. They're lying, and they're making shit up, and they're being deceptive. They're not being honest, and they're fear-mongering. They're spreading all this fear-mongering, negativity, and it's not helping anything. It's making shit worse. And it irks me, man, that they're allowed to get away with that shit, man. I wish there's something could be done about them. Put them out of business. I'm sorry. They're traitors, man. They're bad for this country. I'm telling you, man. And you know what? The ones that, finally wake up, they leave the party. There's a lot of people that were on the left are now on the right. That should tell you something right there too. You don't see people on the right going to the left. You don't hardly ever see that. So it's just, it's all right there. You can see it. It's not hard to recognize it. But I just need to get a couple of things off my chest here. I'm at work. It's my Friday. I feel good. I'm going to get some good cardio in and some vitamin D absorption this weekend. My blister on my toe is better, so I'm good for some running. And I'm going to get this day knocked out and try to have a good weekend. I got plenty of work to do at the pad. I still got my 2-stroke bicycle I got to be working on. So I got plenty to do. So stay tuned for whatever. So y'all have a fantastic day. I'm going to get this one going. And we'll check you later. All right. See ya.